Let's open the archive. I want you to imagine yourself standing on the frozen shore of the solar system. You push off from the ground and you just hang there, suspended in a silence so complete it feels like an eternity. On Earth, it's just a simple hop, but out here, it's a slow, silent ascension into the dark. Think about an Olympic athlete back on Earth, straining every single muscle for a record jump. Now picture this, here on Pluto, with just a gentle push, a mere sigh of effort, you rise. You just float up, clearing a two-story building with ease. There's no real exertion. It's just a slow, weightless drift into the faint, distant starlight. And the reason for this? Well, the entry for this phenomenon is quite simple. The gravitational pull that's binding you to this world is 15 times weaker than the one you're used to. It's not really a bond. It's more like a whisper of a tether, a suggestion that's just barely strong enough to keep you from floating away into the void forever. And that's when it hits you. You're not really jumping. Even in your cumbersome suit, you feel this profound grace. You're gliding. You trace a silent, perfect arc through the near vacuum, almost like a dolphin breaching the surface of a vast frozen ocean. It even feels like time itself thins out here, stretching with you in the long moments of your flight. As you finally begin your slow descent, your gaze falls to the ground, rising up to meet you. And, it looks like rock. It looks like solid, familiar geology. But this archive holds a deeper, much colder truth. What you're seeing? Well, it's an illusion. To really understand this world, you have to accept three archived truths. First, the huge mountain ranges you see, they're not made of stone. They're composed entirely of water ice. Second, this ice, frozen to its absolute core, is actually harder than granite. And third, that fine powder that's covering everything, that's not snow. It's frozen methane, which has fallen from a sky that, right now, no longer exists. Just pause and think about that for a second. The very foundation of this world, those jagged peaks that claw at the black sky, they're made of the same substance that means life on your homeworld. But here, the cold has warped its very nature, transforming it into the planet's bones, a kind of geological armor, forged in a cold so absolute it twists the very laws of matter. But this alien grandeur, this cathedral of ice, it all exists for a reason. You see, there's a terrible price for this perfectly preserved beauty, a kind of hidden clause in the physics of this place. So, what is the cost of being here to see this? The answer isn't in what's here, but in what isn't. It's in the profound absence of everything. A silence that isn't just quiet, but is utterly empty. A void that is just waiting. Listen to these numbers. Minus 240 degrees Celsius. It's a temperature that isn't just cold. No, it's a hostile declaration from the universe. It is the end of all warmth. This is the true nature of this place. It's not cold in the way we understand it. It's an absence, a void, where thermal energy, the vibration that is the very signature of life itself, has nearly ceased to be. Outside your suit, your survival wouldn't be measured in minutes. It would be measured in the fleeting moments before you become just another part of this permanent, frozen archive.
But this state of being, it isn't static. This entire world is trapped in a cycle so immense, so slow, it feels less like geology and more like a slow phantom biology. What we're recording here is the breath of a ghost.
And that's really the final designation for this place. This world is a ghost, haunting the very edge of our solar system. And over centuries, it performs a single, lonely act. It breathes in, and then it breathes out. So, during its 248-year orbit, as it arcs just a little closer to the dim light of the sun, Pluto inhales. The ice on its surface turns directly into gas, becoming a fragile, temporary atmosphere. For a time, the ghost is alive. But as it swings back out into the endless dark, it exhales. The atmosphere itself freezes solid, crystallizes, and then falls as that methane snow, blanketing the world in its own demise. The sky literally dies and settles back onto the ground. So what is the record of your visit? What have we learned? You've stood on a world that is not really a world, but a silent archivist, a keeper of secrets held in perfect stasis at the edge of everything we know. Your visitor's log is brief, but absolute. You've learned that gravity here is just a suggestion, that mountains can be made of water, that an entire sky can be a fleeting ghost, born and then buried, and that the cold is not just an obstacle. It is the final, ruling truth of this place.
We close the file with one final entry. A question. What other ancient truths, what other forgotten histories does this silent ghost world hold in its frozen heart, waiting for us at the cold, dark edge of everything?